With a call sent out by All Might himself asking heroes around the world to come to the aid of the Japanese heroes, All for One sends off a call of his own to stop them, while he personally goes after the world's strongest quirk. With the American hero Star and Stripe already on her way to Japan, All for One sets off to stop her. For those of you who have already read the manga, you already know how this plays out, but today, we're going to see how things might have ended a little differently. Today we'll see if there's a beacon of hope for the home of heroes and Lady Liberty herself. Our story here today is what if a real American hero saved Star and Stripe. The Tears of the Beacon. In the heart of the intense clash between Star and Stripe and All for One, tragedy strikes as All for One's hand is about to deliver a fatal blow. A blinding light erupts, seemingly causing time itself to stop. Emerging from the dissipating light is the as yet unknown hero, American Beacon, arriving just moments too late. Having to witness firsthand the demise of Star and Stripe, and the loss of her quirk, New Order, which holds the power to create rules over anything she touches and names. Clad in a sleek dark blue, red, and white outfit, with a six-pronged star emblazoned across his chest, he stands with tears streaming down his face, his identity shrouded in sorrow. Despite the loss of his love, his guiding light, the American Beacon's unique ability, the quirk Substantial Reality, radiates an aura of truth and self-identity. All for One, confident in his victory, smirks at the new arrival. His smirk quickly turns to a scowl as he realizes, in her last moments, Star and Stripe turned her power against any who would seek to use it. New Order, now as a vestige of Star and Stripe, leads an internal rebellion within All for One, causing him to lose his grip on his unnumbered stolen quirks, and even his host, Tomura Shigaraki. However, unlike in the canon story, he is able to grab a surviving fighter pilot and force the power onto him. The American Beacon's strength lies in his power to manipulate his reality, and the realities of those tied to him through emotion. Fueled by grief and determination, he counters All for One's attempt to pass on Star and Stripe's quirk, ordering the situation with an overwhelming surge of authenticity. Your corruption holds no power in my presence, All for One. Identity is our shield, declares the American Beacon, his voice echoing with the pain of loss and the love of life. Rather than freeing himself from New Order, it is somehow duplicated, yet weakened drastically. Realizing this, the quirks within All for One successfully destroy New Order, freeing him from the vestige of Star and Stripe, and retaining much more of his strength than he could in the original timeline. Lunging for the American Beacon, laughing victoriously, All for One Tomura declares, "I don't know who you are, but thank you for helping me out of that situation. Let's take a look and see what quirk you have." Grabbing the American Beacon's face, just as he had Star and Stripe before killing her. However, both Shigaraki's decay and All for One's quirk stealing both prove futile against the American Beacon, whose truth-based reality manipulation creates an infinite and impenetrable barrier against All for One's corruption. A double-fisted slam from the Beacon displays his apparent superior physical strength, creating a massive shockwave and sending All for One flying downward into the ocean below. Turning to the decaying body of Star and Stripe floating just beneath the water's surface, the Beacon lifts her gently in both arms, and with barely a whisper, reconstitute form. The American Beacon saves Star and Stripe, bringing her back from the brink of death. All for One, enraged, fires upward to destroy this new nuisance, however being met by the fist of the American Beacon, who had just placed Star and Stripe on the fuselage of a jet, floating on the surface. As the battlefield transforms into a battleground of ideologies, the American Beacon's influence spreads like wildfire, inspiring and rejuvenating those soldiers remaining, who bear witness to his unwavering resolve. The clash intensifies with the American Beacon using his power to uncover All for One's darkest secrets, constantly eroding his control over the menagerie of stolen quirks he had accumulated. Those fears empower the vestiges of the former quirk holders and stun the villain, causing him to again lose control of the situation, and forcing him onto the defensive. Taking advantage of his foe's weakness, the American Beacon manages to wound All for One terribly, ripping off his right arm and destroying his right eye. However, as victory seems within reach, an imbalance in the American Beacon's own power, rooted in his mortal limitations, causes him to falter, hindering his ability to defeat the darkness, and nearly causing him to lose consciousness himself. All for One seizes the moment, blasting the Beacon into the debris where Star and Stripe lay unconscious. The Beacon, doing all he can not to allow further harm to befall the wounded, is unable to stop All for One as he escapes, leaving the battlefield, wounded, but not defeated, similarly to the way he does in the original timeline. And that's how this story ends for now. Did you enjoy it so far? I know I loved writing it. At the time of posting this video, the channel is still very new, so I will see all of your comments. Be sure to hold nothing back with any thoughts, opinions, or requests you might have. Have an awesome day out there, heroes. Let's all go plus ultra in our own lives and see just how much good we can do.